In an era where boxing has often been criticized for failing to deliver the fights fans crave, Terence "Bud" Crawford has once again risen above the politics, narratives, and doubts to etch his name in the history books. On a monumental night in Las Vegas, Crawford delivered one of the greatest performances of his career, outclassing Canelo Alvarez in a super middleweight showdown that many had billed as the defining fight of his legacy. The outcome was not only a victory, it was a statement that solidified Crawford's place as perhaps the finest fighter of his generation. The build-up to this fight carried all the tension and intrigue one would expect when two pound-for-pound greats collide. Alvarez, the undisputed king at super middleweight, had built a resume that few could rival: titles in 4 divisions, victories over legends, and a reputation as boxing's biggest star. Crawford, meanwhile, was coming off a historic win over Errol Spence Jr., where he became the first male boxer to become undisputed champion in 3 separate divisions. Still, questions lingered. Could a natural welterweight like Crawford handle the size, power, and pressure of Canelo, a man who had fought as high as light heavyweight? From the opening bell, Crawford answered emphatically. Using his trademark switch-hitting style, precise footwork, and surgical jab, he neutralized Canelo's advances and dictated the pace. Alvarez tried to cut off the ring and unleash his heavy combinations to the body, but Crawford's timing, anticipation, and defensive sharpness kept him one step ahead. The Omaha native's ability to adapt in real time became the story of the fight. Whenever Canelo adjusted, Crawford recalibrated, finding openings and creating angles that left the Mexican superstar frustrated. By the middle rounds, it was clear this was no ordinary fight. Crawford's sharp counters, punishing combinations, and relentless composure painted a picture of a fighter operating at the absolute peak of his craft. Canelo, normally so effective at breaking down his opponents, struggled to find sustained success. For every hook or uppercut that landed, Crawford responded with crisp shots that snapped Alvarez's head back and won the crowd's awe. The championship rounds only reinforced Crawford's superiority. Rather than simply coasting on the scorecards, he pressed forward with controlled aggression, landing clean, eye-catching punches that erased any doubt about who was in command. When the final bell rang, the arena buzzed with the realization that fans had just witnessed one of the great performances of the modern era. The scorecards reflected the dominance, unanimously in favor of Crawford. With this victory, Crawford not only conquered a larger and heavily favored opponent, but also elevated himself into rarefied air. Boxing history is littered with debates about who belongs on the Mount Rushmore of the sport, but Crawford's resume now demands serious consideration. Undisputed champion at lightweight, junior welterweight, and welterweight, and now the man to dethrone Canelo Alvarez at super middleweight. His body of work stands as a testament to versatility, greatness, and fearlessness in chasing the biggest challenges. What makes Crawford's case even stronger is the manner in which he wins. He doesn't merely edge out opponents or scrape through controversial decisions. He dominates, dismantles, and leaves no room for debate. Against Canelo, he showed he could carry his power, speed, and ring IQ into higher weight classes without compromise. It was not just a win for Crawford but a victory for boxing purists who long for fighters who dare to be great. The aftermath of this bout will ripple across the sport. For Canelo, this marks a sobering moment in a career that has already secured his place as an all-time great. Defeat at the hands of Crawford doesn't erase his accomplishments but adds nuance to his legacy. For Crawford, however, the path is clear. His legacy is still being written, and the case for him as the best fighter of his era, if not an all-time legend, has never been stronger. As fans reflect on this all-time outing, one thing becomes clear. Terence Crawford is not just another name in the record books. He is a generational talent, a fighter whose combination of skill, intelligence, and heart has elevated him above his peers. In defeating Canelo Alvarez so comprehensively, Crawford didn't just win a fight, he cemented his place in the pantheon of boxing immortals.